All right, today we're going to tackle one of the biggest and honestly one of the trickiest questions in all of technology. What is artificial intelligence? So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at the question itself, this deceptively simple question. Then we're going to tear it apart. What do we even mean by artificial? And maybe even tougher, what is intelligence? From there, we'll see the problem this all creates and wrap up with the idea that maybe this is a question that's always changing. Okay, let's just dive right in. We're starting with the deceptively simple question. And man, that title is spot on. It seems so easy on the surface, but you're about to see there's a whole universe of complexity hiding in there. There it is, the big one. What is artificial intelligence? Just let that sit for a second. It's just 4 words, right? But these 4 words, they challenge pretty much everything we think we know about technology, about life, and even about ourselves. Now, the goal here isn't for me to give you some neat, tidy textbook answer. Nope. The goal is to explore why this question is so incredibly hard to pin down and why it's so important that we keep asking it. So to really get a handle on this, we've got to take it piece by piece. First stop, what do we actually mean by artificial? Let's try and unpack this first half of the puzzle. Okay, so if you grab a dictionary, you'll find something like this. Artificial, made or produced by human beings rather than occurring naturally. Okay, seems straightforward enough, doesn't it? It's something we make, usually trying to copy something from the natural world. But hold on. That simple definition gets real complicated real fast. When we say an AI is artificial, what are we really saying? Are we talking about a perfect replica of a human mind? Or is it more like a clever simulation, a really good fake? Is the only difference that it's just not made of meat? Or, and this is a big one, are we creating something totally new, a category of thing that's never existed before? See, it's slippery. And if you thought artificial was a tricky word, well, get ready for the second, and I'd argue a way more complex piece of this puzzle. What in the world is intelligence? And again, let's start with the basics. The dictionary will tell you intelligence is the ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. You know, it's clean, it's simple, but is that really it? Is that all there is to it? Of course not. Because intelligence isn't just one thing. It's this huge, sprawling spectrum of different abilities. You've got the cold hard logic of a supercomputer that can crush a grandmaster at chess. But what about the creativity of a painter or musician? What about just learning from your mistakes and adapting? And what about empathy, social and emotional understanding, or even just the physical smarts it takes to walk across a room without falling over? Which one of these is the real intelligence we're trying to build? So let's just pause and bring it all back to the center again. What is artificial intelligence? You can probably start to feel how any easy answer just starts to crumble. And this leads us right into what we can call the definitional dilemma. This is what happens when these two incredibly complicated ideas just slam into each other. And this, right here, this is the heart of the problem. On one side, you have artificial, a word that can mean anything from manufactured to a fake. And on the other side, you have intelligence, a concept that covers everything from math to creativity to maybe even consciousness itself. How are you supposed to build a solid, stable definition by mashing together two concepts that are basically quicksand? So here's the bottom line. The thing to really get your head around, we're trying to define a moving target. The word artificial is fluid. The idea of intelligence is incredibly complex, and people argue about it constantly. So it just follows that artificial intelligence is always going to be this shifting thing that we can't quite pin down. Which brings us to our last big idea, a question that evolves. And here's a thought for you. Maybe the goal isn't to find one final answer at all. This quote it nails it. The definition of AI is a moving frontier, constantly being pushed forward by what we can create. I mean, think about it. The programs that could beat you at chess in the 90s, that felt like pure genius level AI back then. That's just standard stuff on your phone now. What we call AI today is probably just going to be called software tomorrow. The goalposts are always moving. And this is the real takeaway. The fact that there's no single perfect definition, that's not a bug, it's a feature. The evolving definition is actually a sign of our own progress. It reflects our own changing, deepening understanding of what intelligence even is and what we're capable of creating. So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. As we keep building this stuff, keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible, Is it possible that in trying to define AI, we're also, in a way, redefining ourselves?